New Jersey enacted a law this past week that some are calling the toughest anti-bullying law in the country. It requires schools there to appoint anti-bullying experts and make regular public reports on bullying incidents. Halfway across the country, a school in another state with an anti-bullying law is already teaching kids a life lesson about this long-standing problem, as Tracy Smith will report now in our cover story.
Sometimes friends can turn on you. Middle school changes people a lot.
12-year-old Jacob is trying to make sense of a situation millions of kids face every day. He's being bullied.
She just seemed to get meaner, and she started making fun of people, and that's personally when I think the bullying started.
All my anger builds up, then I'll start calling people names.
When you're in that situation where you're picking on somebody, what's going through your head?
What's going through my head is that I don't like this person, I want to get back at them.
7th graders Stephanie and Jacob used to be friends, but that all changed one recent Friday afternoon during 6th period English when Stephanie began taunting Jacob.
I said to him, I said, "Are you gay?"
Gay? And she's like, "Are you gay?" And I'm like, "No."
The second time I asked him, he said, "I'm not gay." And then I said, "Are you sure you're not gay?" He said, "I'm not gay."
She kept on responding, "Well, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay." And I'm like, "I'm not."
And he yelled it really loud.
She kept, repeating that. And then finally, Miss Baker looked over. I'm like, "Well, she won't stop calling me gay."
What do you have? Art.
Name-calling may seem like child's play, but it isn't. This is the run-of-the-mill bullying that doesn't make headlines. It seethes and festers and can make just going to school an agony.
Compared to these high-profile cases, so much of what we're talking about here may seem small potatoes.
Well, when it starts to affect how they feel, when it starts to affect how they are learning or not learning, then that's kind of important. You know, after a time, that can really wear on kids.
Hugh McDermott is the principal at Stephanie and Jacob's school, Irving Middle School in Lincoln, Nebraska. He feels it's important to talk about bullying and its consequences. So important, he invited us to see what they're doing about it.
The extreme cases that happen nationally, we don't want any kids to get even close to those points of terrible acts.
Do you worry about that?
Absolutely. So we really were looking for, what else could we do here at school to help kids?
I try to stand up for myself.
And how do you do that?
I tell them just to back off.
So McDermott allowed researchers from the University of Nebraska to study Irving Middle School students as part of their bully intervention program.
Bullies often want to fit in just like everyone else.
An intensive one-on-one 3-hour analysis using questionnaires, talk therapy, and videos.
Bullies get attention. It's easier for them to be angry at other people.
The idea is to catch kids early before behaviors and reputations take hold.
These kids are on a bad trajectory, and we want to help them get off of it.
Susan Swearer, who heads the research team from the University of Nebraska and is a leading expert on bullying, designed and runs the Bully Intervention Program.
We hope that by working with them individually, we can give them some strategies and they can say, okay, there's other ways I can interact and behave toward others.
According to the data Swearer has gathered, which includes how many times students are sent to the principal's office, the intervention program has been modestly successful at Irving. Kids who went through the program get into trouble about half as often as they used to.
We've kind of honed in on middle school because the research shows that bullying peaks during the middle school years. Kids are going from their nice, safe, smaller, typically elementary schools into middle school where they're changing classes, they have lockers, they're more independent, puberty, issues are hitting. Middle school seems to be a particularly vulnerable time for kids.
Is there a bully profile?
There isn't. So we can't say, well, they're impulsive and they're, not that smart. There is no profile. So why some people bully and some people don't is very complicated.
There's a lot of drama at Irving.
In February, Madison and classmate Stephanie were each placed in the bully intervention program after they became known as a bullying team, zeroing in on easy targets.
There's this girl from last year. She would wear the same clothes day after day and have the same socks. And we would say, "That's disgusting. Why are you wearing the same clothes? You're nasty." I would say, "You're gross."
After being in the intervention program, Stephanie and Madison went their separate ways.
What happened to that girl?
I smile at her once in a while.
Does she smile back?
Yeah, she does. Because, well, I said I was sorry for what I did.
You apologized to her?
Yeah. I've made a new group of friends. I try my hardest to stay away from the bullying.
Is there a little piece of you that misses being a bully?
Feeling like you're powerful and you control your group or whatever. That's the thing I only miss.
I'm really pleased with some of the progress that Madison has made. When I say to her, "Gosh, you know, I haven't seen you in my office in a long time," she just beams up. And so I know that she's happy about that. Stephanie's still a work in progress. I'm not sure yet that she wants to change who she is.
McDermott says Stephanie's behavior has not improved, in part because she still doesn't seem to grasp what the problem is.
How does it make you feel to know that parents are so worried about their kids, what you're doing to their kids, that they've called the school to complain?
I don't find it right because I don't threaten kids that bad.
That bad? And if kids are scared of you? Come on, this is the first time you're hearing that kids are scared of you?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because they're always like, "I'm not scared of you."
What are you saying to kids that they would turn around and say, "I'm not scared of you"?
When I say, "I'm going to beat you up," like when I say that to them, they'll be like, "I'm not scared of you."
Maybe they're not telling the truth. Here's the thing, if you call people names, if you threaten to beat them up, doesn't that make you a bully?
Yeah.
But Stephanie's mom, Sue, isn't so sure.
Stephanie, you know, really isn't that bully that people label her as.
What do you think she is if she's not that bully?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. A sassy, smart-ass little girl.
Here's the thing, I get a sense that there's a little piece of you that's kind of proud of her because...
Exactly, you have to stand up for themselves, you know, in society, really. I don't think anybody would really pick on her.
I think Mom is learning a lot of things along the way, along this journey. And I think she'll discover that there are other ways that Stephanie can be proud of herself and stick up for herself without hurting people physically or verbally.
While physical bullying can be scary and scarring, researchers say it's verbal bullying that can cause lasting wounds. And one word in particular is especially hurtful.
We found that the kids who were bullied because other kids called them gay had higher levels of anxiety and depression and a more negative view towards school and really felt ostracized.
Jacob had to basically declare his sexual orientation to class the other day. He's just a kid. He's a middle schooler.
Well, there are a lot of good, supportive kids, friends of Jacob, that will come to his rescue, and I think that he'll do fine in recovering from that aspect of it.
He says he's fine now.
Yeah, and I hope I can believe him.
So you're going to keep an eye on him?
I'm going to keep an eye on every single one of these kids.
What would happen if the bully intervention program went away?
There'd be so much more bullying.
You think so? So it's making a difference, you think?
Yeah.
Just maybe not for you.
Yeah.
Do you really, in your heart of hearts, feel like Stephanie can be helped?
Yes, I think she can. There are times when I've had discussions with Stephanie that I see glimmers of hope, that I think that, yes, she's starting to understand this. And then the next day she does something and I'm back to square one.
Still, Principal McDermott says until something better comes along, he's sticking with the bully intervention program at Irving Middle School.
If this works for one kid, I mean, that's a success.
Whether in the schoolyard or principal's office, taking on bullies one at a time may be the best approach. And that means this fight is far from over.
You think bullies will ever go away?
I think they're here to stay, but I just kind of wish that they didn't exist, because there's no really reason for them to exist, but they just do.
Coming up, snap judgment.
I'm like a mad scientist in photography.
Call it. And later, acting out with Javier Bardem.